Excellent. Welcome to the TED Summit online conference. I have Michael from nativeMsg. Thank you, Michael, for being here. I'm so glad you're here.
My pleasure, Alan. It's always a treat to spend some time with you and learn from you and share a little bit about, where we're at and all of that. And
That's right. Absolutely. Because, RCS is here.
yep,
We've seen excited, I should say, sort of executives because of Apple joining the party. And, RCS is here now. It's here. I mean, I am grateful that this year I've had less RCS spam. So that was sent peer to peer. It's not A to P.
yep,
So
yep.
that has gone. So it's all SMS spam I get now. So that, for me, is a godsend. But I've not received any RCS campaigns. I mean, it's here. I would expect, I work with, I'm customers of some of the major brands out there. So
Yep.
where are these RCS messages that we should be seeing?
I think that there's a couple of different things going on.
Okay.
I think the first thing is that there is price sensitivity between SMS and RCS.
Yeah.
And I think there's that part of it, which isn't really that dramatic at the end of the day when
Yeah.
you think about the results you get from RCS versus SMS. There's more value, all of that. But then there's also which numbers support RCS. Are we set up to be able to do device detection? Are we able to set up, and understand which numbers we can send to and which numbers we can't send to? That's a part of it. And then, it's the tools. Where are the tools? What is RCS? And I think ultimately it's all of those things, but it's education and awareness
Okay.
because still inside of the telco world, in this bubble that we live in,
Yeah.
RCS, RCS, everybody knows RCS. Outside of our bubble, nobody has any idea what it is,
Yes.
what it does, that it exists. People are familiar with seeing RCS in the like little text window on their phone. So they're like, "Oh, I was wondering what that was." But from
Okay.
a full-blown business messaging experience,
Yeah.
there aren't that many out there. And I can
Yeah.
tell you, I mean, I sign up for everything.
Yeah.
So I have, we have Android devices and iOS devices signed up for all the campaigns that are out there. And there's very few that I have seen convert. And funny enough, one of them is Saks Fifth Avenue, not a
Oh,
customer of ours,
no, but
but they started doing RCS. And,
interesting.
if anyone from Saks Fifth Avenue is listening, your messaging could use a little help. It's not ideal by any means, and I don't mean anything bad by
No,
that, but
no,
there's a
no.
lot more you can do.
Yes.
And if you're going to go into that world, you might as well take advantage of all the stuff that's there.
Exactly. All the
So,
features and functions available in using a
yeah,
particular channel.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly, exactly.
Cool.
So I think over the next couple of weeks we will see more of it, but I
Okay.
really think 2026 is it is right. That's really when it's going to start to play out, and all of that. And then it's just the infrastructure of, and I'm sure you're going to get to this, like verifying, approving agents, all of that kind of stuff,
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
transition over to that. Here's the thing. When you think about RCS, again, in the telecom bubble, it's been around forever,
Yeah.
17 years, not new, but whatever.
Yeah. Wait for
The
next
rest
year,
of the
next year,
world,
next year.
exact. The rest of the world has no idea it exists.
Yeah.
And it's that, education and awareness to get to that point to help them understand what it is they can do and can't do.
Yeah.
And then there is the approval and verification process,
Yeah.
which with any, you have to think about RCS as a new industry. So
Yes.
as a new industry,
Yeah.
you have to go through the growing pains of understanding where are the bottlenecks,
Hmm.
how do we streamline all of this, how
Yeah.
do we make it easier? And that's what's happening right now.
Gotcha.
So if you think
Okay.
about the TCR, right, they're going to start helping people with RCS agents. Then you think about the large
But
aggregators
is it
that are
Google
out there.
Jibe? I mean, is it TCR or is it Google Jibe I use for getting
So there's a
as a brand?
difference, and this
Yeah.
is kind of distinct, right? Because you can register an agent
Hmm.
and you can launch it for testing
Yeah.
so that you have the ability to, right inside of your bubble,
Hmm.
do RCS just like it's out in the wild.
Okay.
That's step one.
Okay.
Step two is launching it.
Hmm.
So they're different, right?
Okay.
So we can help people get RCS agents up and running, very quickly, and then testing them very quickly so that
Yeah.
they can understand the functionality features so that when they're ready to launch, then that's when you put together kind of the launch criteria, credentials, all of that, so that you can then provide that to the mobile network operators who then review it and then they approve it. The
Ah.
other part of it is there's a brand verification
Hmm.
as done by Aegis.
Yes.
So, or Aegis, I don't know how to
Yeah. Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
So they do that part of it.
Okay.
And then the carriers are approving it. And then there is another verification that comes from Google for any Google Guest Cloud networks, and then also
Okay.
Google Fi and other things like that.
Okay.
So step one, create the tester. It's on your phone. You can whatever you want to do. So you think it's real, ready to go,
Yeah.
but you still have to launch it. Step two,
Yeah.
which is then when you provide the information to the carriers. And that has changed a little bit also
Okay.
from what their requirements are, making it easier, right? In the beginning, it was like your first child. Now you get to keep your first kid, all
Okay.
jokes aside.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just as this industry is growing and maturing, and as people are going through these workflows to get things up and running, they're learning a lot about how to automate it, how to make it easy, how to make it simple. And
Okay.
that is really what's going to, as you can imagine,
Yeah.
drive a lot more adoption because if it's all this manual back and forth,
Well, yeah.
that
So, I mean,
doesn't scale.
do you have to, because as a brand, I have no
Huh?
clue
No.
which, carriers I'm going to be sending over. Most probably all of them, because it's to my customer base. And to
Yep.
know which carrier for which number, I haven't any clue. So, do they have to apply, send an application to AT&T and to Verizon, to all, to T-Mobile to get the campaign they want to run? So, I mean, you mentioned, Saks Fifth Avenue. So if they want to
Yep.
do a campaign, they have to apply for approval to all the carriers, or can they
So
just,
it's not a campaign approval.
okay.
It's an RCS agent approval,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
right? So when you are going to get something approved, you are saying, I understand how what unsubscribe is. Here's the
Yes.
wording in the language.
Gotcha.
Opt out, wording in language. Help, wording in language. How is someone going to sign up? And what is a sample message?
Okay.
So if
Gotcha.
you think about it from the 10DLC perspective,
Hmm.
the biggest difference between RCS and 10DLC is a logo and a hero image.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
it. The rest of it is all the same. You got to have a way to help people. You got to have a way for people to unsubscribe. You
Yep.
want to understand the use case. And I think also from the carrier perspective, it's like, you know, do you really understand RCS? Like, do we want you and do we want to let you use your tools on our network, or are you just
Okay.
trying to shove stuff through the pipe to see what you can get approved? And that's
Gotcha.
another thing, real quick, is that there's not a document that says we will approve this or we won't approve this.
Yeah.
So you do have to submit it and put it in front of the carriers and have them review it. And then they go through their process
Okay.
where they can reject it and say, hey, we need this piece or that piece. So that's really what's happening. So it's not campaign level,
No, no, but
it's
it's at
RCS
agent level.
agent level.
Okay.
Correct.
So that could be Saks Fifth Avenue is doing an application to say we want to be an agent for RCS.
Correct. Correct.
Gotcha. Now, are they working with a partner like yourself who can then contact all the relevant operators? Or,
I would I would think so because they
Yeah,
have the RCS up and running. And I was getting
yeah,
SMS from them previously.
yeah,
So whichever vendor they are using
yeah.
basically flipped their
Gotcha.
SMS into RCS,
Yeah,
which is really that's the majority of traffic that's out there right now is
yeah,
saying, hey, Mr. Customer, there's this new thing called RCS. It's got a logo. Oh, I want the logo. Okay, great. Here's a bunch of free credits, or we'll get you up and running. And right, very no friction at
gotcha.
all, so that that RCS traffic can start to flow. So they can say, look at all the RCS traffic we're sending, which is great, but it doesn't. Right, we're not taking full advantage of what RCS can do and what RCS is capable of
Yep.
at this point. But we are at literally day zero with RCS in
Yes.
terms of US launch into the wild, into the world,
Yeah.
all of that. So
Okay, so it's just getting agents on board that
correct.
understand, that have the processes to be able to launch a campaign and utilize some of the features that could be attracting them. Being able to do a simple sort of the cards where you can basically click on multiple images, or you can
Yep.
click and then go off to book your tickets. So all the advanced features that
Right.
have been shown for well, mostly over a decade now, but we're
Exactly.
still not there. So okay, so we're still well, I still feel it's your partner, that person that's holding your hand in helping you get through this. I think is critical. Now, you've mentioned Saks. What other brands are sending RCS? Because as a consumer, I can tell you my carrier is not sending RCS, and you would expect the carrier to want to spend the time and effort in educating the market.
I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
And it is a question that we have posed and that we have asked. And um, I don't know if it's right, the lack of tools. We have the tools.
Yep,
We can do
exactly.
it all day long. We've
Yep,
talked to them
yep.
globally about assisting them with things. But I agree with you, right? If you have a brand new technology that no one knows exists, who is better to introduce it to you than the company that you trust already
Yep.
versus Walgreens sending you a text reminder,
Yeah.
which is nice, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
that's a great use case, and it's kind of easing your way into it. Best Buy, I think, was doing store pickups. We're doing a
Okay.
bunch of stuff in the agriculture space,
Okay, cool.
where we're doing RCS and then employee communications with some major airlines
Oh, that's
doing RCS.
interesting.
But to your point, it's not widespread
Yeah.
by any means.
Okay.
And I think as I mentioned previously, it's a couple of different things that are at play.
Yeah.
And I think once kind of the different companies, decide that they want to offer carousels and rich cards and things like that, then you might see a little bit more of it.
Okay.
The other part of it is in the US, there isn't conversational pricing yet. So that
Oh,
idea of a session
yeah.
hasn't been implemented yet, which I think will obviously, right? That's going to explode usage also
Yeah, exactly.
once it's not onesie twosie nickel and diming.
Yeah.
But I say onesie twosie nickel and diming from the perspective of, how much is a message, cheap message delivery, the RO, all of that versus, as we talked about last time, you have to start looking at this through a different lens
Yes.
because if you think that like you're paying X for SMS, which is the Volkswagen, and you're going to pay X for the Rolls Royce, that doesn't make sense. So it's back to education and awareness. It's back
Yeah.
to understanding that you're not just sending a message, and really, ultimately, you're building applications.
Yes.
That's the major difference here. And there are a lot of companies out there that are just not ready to do that.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. There hasn't been a lot of money in RCS up to this point,
Yeah.
but now it's gaining momentum. So now we're getting those systems in place. We're getting those use cases in place. We're starting to get results globally from different campaigns. And it's just blowing everything away.
Okay. Because yeah, I saw a post from the UK which was highlighting an RCS campaign that
Hmm?
a brand had recently, that one of the shall we say insiders within the messaging industry had received. I mean, again, it just shows how the numbers are so small. Where when they're not receiving RCS spam, but somebody's actually receiving it's a Proca message with video. And
Yeah.
and it just
And
shows
that's,
how far we've got to go.
yes, absolutely. But again, it gets back to where we are in the life cycle of the technology,
Yes.
right? Again,
Yeah.
in the telco bubble, been around forever.
Yeah.
In the rest of the world, it's been around for months.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there hasn't been any volume of activity
No.
to warrant building systems,
Yes.
to building out tools, to creating the infrastructure, to getting to a point where we have RCS. So it's 10 DLC and it's right, very
Yeah.
simple and straightforward. And I also
Yeah.
think the carriers are being cautious, right? They're being cautious about what they want to launch on their networks. So
Yes.
political, for example, right, is a
Oh.
hot topic.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of money in the political space also as well. So
Yeah.
people are very attracted to that. But political messages can also be insightful and they
Yes.
can also be divisive and decisive and
Turn
all the other, we know this,
consumers
right?
off. Yeah.
And if that's your first experience with a new technology on your phone,
Yeah.
it's not going to sit real
No,
well.
I agree.
And I truly believe that is what is driving a lot of the kind of, what are we going to accept? What are we going to launch? What do we want to be out there in the wild
Okay.
right now
Yeah.
from a use case perspective and from a brand perspective so that the RCS experience is good?
Yeah. Okay.
Not okay and
No.
not,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but good.
Yeah,
Like it
we can do this with
really,
SMS or MMS already. So what's the difference? Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, there was a Google did a massive campaign a few months back where it was showing fan engagement. Now, of course, fan engagement is well, it's mature. I mean, in Europe, using messaging, using voice. I mean, Apiphonica, who I helped many, many years ago, did some great fan engagement just using voice and messaging. So, and they were showing using RCS. So it's sort of, yes, okay, it's reinventing history, but at least it was demonstrating the value with a brand. And after that was launched, it went a bit quiet. I didn't see like, numbers being published showing, you know, the improvement in fan engagement. It seemed to be, yay, we did something, and it had a positive impact, but it didn't show like a, sustained material impact for that football team or whatever in
Yep.
engaging its fans because it's all about season ticket sales. That's what they care about and driving more season tickets. And that's what Apiphonica did over a decade ago in getting more season ticket sales. So and it was a very simple business case. It's just talk to your customers. You'll be amazed what happens.
Well, and especially in sports, right? There's a lot of passion there. There's a
Yeah,
lot of emotion tied to it. There's a
yeah.
lot of that. So that certainly helps. And the, campaign with the sports team, it was really around the schedule launch day and
Oh,
making kind of a big fanfare around that. So it was a
okay,
kind of
okay.
slice of time
Yeah,
versus, my guess is over the next 6 to 9 months, as they continue to do more things, we'll
okay.
start to hear more about some of
Gotcha.
those other items. But what that really points out and what that shows though too is, and across the board with a lot of these campaigns and a lot of the data is the measurement
Yes.
of RCS is much, much more advanced. Back to the Volkswagen versus Rolls-Royce
Yeah, yeah,
analogy,
yeah.
right? When you send out a text message, you have no idea,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? If they click the link, you got a
Yeah.
winner. If they hit
Exactly.
the phone number, you got a winner. Other than that, you really don't know anything at all. In
Exactly.
the world of RCS, I know if you opened it. I know how much time you spent there. I know,
Yes.
right? So now we're getting this kind of Google Analytics type
Yes.
visibility that is now available in the messaging app, which again increases the value of the tool versus a how much is a message game. It's
Exactly.
what is the outcome? What is the value that you are now receiving by moving your experiences into this new channel? And it is
Well, as a channel is
checking
replicating
boxes
what we know
all over the
from the
place.
web, because you can see where people hung out. You can see, I mean, even,
Exactly.
estimates of where the cursor was hanging round parts of your website, before they clicked on. So there's,
Yep.
a lot of marketing got experience on that, and it's enabling them because of that web experience to now experience it with RCS. So I sort of,
Exactly.
it's take advantage of the training that's already there, the experiences marketing teams already have, and I guess, as you say, the processes to just getting started aren't slick and there at the moment.
Just not streamlined, automated, right?
Yeah.
Technology automates everything, AI, all the, things that exist to do all of this. It's just you have to go through and figure out where the bottlenecks are. You have to figure
Yes.
out where the road bumps are. You have to
Yeah.
figure out what the issues are, right? You know this. You
Yeah.
can't just go and build something based upon, hey, I think it's going to work like that. And then all of a sudden you go and do it. And you're like, oh, it
Yeah,
doesn't work
that's
that
it.
way.
I know it's well, we're living the same thing with voice AI. It's like you can create all these, voice AI agents, and carriers can resell them, but carriers can't because they don't have the expertise. They can't
Right.
help a business take what they're doing and enable that voice AI agent to work with the business that that enterprise has today. So I sort of
Yeah.
see the challenges that we see with voice AI. It's exactly the same challenges we're seeing with RCS. The
Mhm.
carriers lack that experience and those discussions, ongoing sort of relationships with brands around marketing. So I'm wondering whether, you know, we're at, because there needs to be some kind of breakthrough. And I'm just wondering whether some of the web marketing companies, if they get, can see the benefit in RCS, can say, well, we're already doing this for these campaigns. We can extend it, because I see with some of the web marketing companies, they're playing more with WhatsApp, they're playing more with Instagram, they're playing more with Snapchat because it's so web centric. So, again, I'm just sort of looking at, you know, what, where's the breakthrough going to come in terms of an enabler, a company that's just helping brands be successful in marketing, and just, saying, and here's the RCS piece we've just extended for all the tools that you're already using, so that people can see that. I mean, part of the challenge, of course, is the cost of RCS versus just web impressions. It's just vastly different.
That's going to be right. You're always going to have to go back to what am I paying here? What is the result that I get? What am I
Yeah,
paying there? And what is the result that I get? And that
yeah,
result has to justify that additional cost.
yeah. Gotcha.
But there is also something to be said for a better customer experience in general, just across the board, to remove friction from processes that are clumsy and cumbersome and all of that.
Yeah.
And, there's going to be some announcements next year. Can't really talk
No,
too much
no.
about it, but RCS is going to be integrated into different entry points and different
Okay.
touch points
Okay.
so that there will be, it's instead of RCS being relegated to this messaging
Yeah.
mentality and industry and kind of living in that lane,
Hmm.
it's going to move outside of that and it's going to move into different departments inside of an organization, which
Okay.
is going to help the
Yes.
how much is a message conversation go away
Yep.
and back to how much are you spending a month to do this right now?
Yep.
Okay. And what are the results that you're getting? Okay. Well, let's take a portion of that budget and let's not tie it to like how much is a message, but let's
Yep.
tie it to an outcome.
Yep.
And then let's figure out what that outcome is. So the
Gotcha.
more that RCS matures
Yeah.
and the more that Google, Jibe, Apple kind of begin to understand where it truly does fit in. And
Gotcha.
right, ultimately, it's like, how do we take a user from a mobile experience and move them into RCS, which is the best experience on the mobile device currently?
Well, to deliver that app experience. So you think of it purely from an app perspective, rather,
100%.
because yeah, and most of the apps are measuring in a very web-centric way, rather than the
Yep.
more traditional. Now, you mentioned Apple. What are
Yep.
some of the issues that we're seeing between Apple and Android at the moment? Because that's where you're living.
Sure. Yeah. I think the biggest difference between Apple and Android is just the layout of the messages, the way the
Okay.
messages are delivered and
Okay.
how they're received on the devices, the different image sizes that are required, the understanding of buttons and chips and quick replies and where those exist and where they don't exist. What
Okay.
happens to a URL when it shows up in iOS versus Android?
Yes.
How do we manage that? How much copy do I need to put so that I don't have to hit the box on the iPhone to expand it and make it big? So there's all these little nuances around, you know, delivering a campaign that is successful across all devices. Because if
Yeah.
you look at it just on an iOS device, you're going to see one thing.
Yeah.
If you look at it just on an Android, you're going to see something entirely different,
Yes.
but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And how do you work with customers and how do you help brands understand those nuances so that when they're sending images through, they're not like, well, how come it got cut off here and not there? And what size does it have to be? And what's the
Yeah.
ratio? And,
Yeah.
and it gets into, it's just really all about layout of the UI. Like on iOS devices, the width and the size of the characters matter more than the number of characters, which is a
Yes.
unique place to be also.
Yeah.
But after you test a lot, after you run through a lot, right,
Yeah.
you start to learn a lot of different things. So, like video, for example, um, initially it was 100 megabyte file they were saying, and then it was 60 and 50, and I think the carriers were like, hold on a second here, let's
I know.
not be going crazy. But you have to test to figure out what works on both. What
Yes.
is iOS accepting versus what is Google telling you that Jibe is accepting that is being sent over to iOS.
Yes.
So again, it's about 20 to 25 megs you can push through on both devices. It's
Hmm.
delivered. It's display.
Yeah.
Um, Thumbnails don't automatically show up on iOS and they do on Android. Like there's one example right there. You have to have a
Yes.
thumbnail.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
little
Exactly.
nuances like that, and we'll see where Apple ends up and iOS ends up with. As again, there's feedback coming from everybody around. This is how we want it to work, and this is what we want it to do.
Yeah.
And eventually, there'll be some enhancements there and some updates and some changes and things like
Okay.
that. But for the most part, from our perspective, it works across devices,
Hmm.
and it's really more about understanding the copy and the content,
Exactly.
sizes, dimensions, what's going to work, what's not going to work,
Yeah.
and that's what's really important right now
Yeah.
from our perspective,
Yeah. Yeah.
where we're providing a lot of help to people around that.
Gotcha. It reminds me of the early days of the mobile web, where it was
Hmm.
all about just the formatting issues and trying to get your
Exactly.
web page to just render properly. so that
Correct.
it didn't hop off the page. People constantly having to scroll down to basically see the button they needed to click.
Yep.
So that's interesting. So it's again, it comes back to, and you said this right at the start. We're at an education phase,
Correct.
but again, a lot of brands, that education, it's all about your partner in who are you working with to help you get up the learning curve as fast as possible.
And I think you're spot on there.
Mhm.
And what is happening, what I am seeing out there is that there are people that are offering RCS, but then there are people that understand RCS.
Yes.
And there's a big difference between getting an email from your current vendor that says, we now support RCS and you don't have to change your API call, to, hey, we can help you build out campaigns. We can help you build out experiences. We know what the sizes of the images. We know because we've done it. Just
Exactly.
like getting an agent, right? Like it's all this testing and all of
Yeah.
those things. And, we've done a lot of that. So we understand a lot of that much more
Yep.
versus just saying, here's an API.
Yeah. Knock
Good
yourself
luck.
out.
We wish
Yeah.
you the best. Oh, but you can't do that, and you can't do that, and you can't do that because we haven't turned that on and we don't support that. And
Yeah. That's
but
it.
again, they'll get there. It's just, as you and I have discussed in the past, we've been in it a long time. So we have software and solutions that are very, very mature
Yes.
versus a single API call to send a basic RCS.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and again, we're in that phase where it's the look and feel for a brand. They
Mm-hmm.
need to really across the devices understand how a particular campaign can be consistent with the look and the feel that they're trying to create for whatever target audience it is. Because
Exactly.
yeah, and I see it. I mean, part of it also though is, and I'm interested in your perspective, integration. Because one of the things that's like TikTok, it has integrated advertising, it has basically the store, there's all these bits that get integrated in. And of course, with WhatsApp, they've now made there's an exclusive that you can only use RAI.
Oh yeah.
But, for a lot of brands working on Facebook, so what? You
Yeah.
know,
Well, they don't.
you know,
They could care less.
Exactly, it's whatever works. So
Well,
I'm
that's
just,
the thing. And if they can create something that is smart enough to address every industry, every vertical, every use case, every question, which they can't, obviously, but you can get it 90% of the way there to at
yeah,
least provide a response that is relevant.
yeah,
I mean, that's all. Ultimately, at the end of the day, with anything, we as consumers, we want someone to listen
yeah,
and we want to know someone is listening. And that's where it starts.
gotcha.
That's where it begins.
Yeah,
And having those responses and those auto responses and the AI and all that
yeah,
other kind of stuff, right?
exactly.
Like that's all part of it. And
Yeah,
that's what, to just touch on AI real quick, AI and RCS should be best friends
yes,
forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Because you're creating really, there's much more than this, but there's two kinds of AI, right? There's internal and external.
yes,
So stuff you're using for your business that your employees use to do all the things, nobody will ever see that
yeah,
outside of the company. Then there's the external AI, which you spend a lot of money, you build out these models, you put it all in, and then where do you put it? You put it in the bottom right corner of a browser. And where
yeah,
else does it go?
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. Where
yeah.
else do you put it? Where else would you put it? You can't put it in WhatsApp anymore,
No,
so it can't go there.
no,
And if you want to extend your investment and really have usage and put it where we all are already, all these things we've all heard over the years, right?
yeah,
But it makes perfect sense because RCS is not just messaging, it's application development.
yeah,
And you can very easily integrate AI into RCS, basically extending the technology onto the device
Yep.
right? In an own channel.
Yep.
So you're not running it through somebody else. No one else is listening.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
And you're delivering an exceptional experience because of the UI that now exists inside of the text messaging app in RCS. It's perfectly suited for AI.
Yep. Yep.
So that will be a thing that you will start to see a lot more of around that.
Okay.
And we've actually started partnering with companies. We've done integrations with all the big name, right? So we know it all works. But actually, from a partnering perspective, we have a partnership with IBM
Mm-hmm.
around their Watson AI and being able to um, have RCS, right? Like a layer to be
Oh,
able to
okay.
deliver that Watson AI.
Interesting.
And I think the other part is we've talked really a lot about business to consumer,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a ton of use cases in business to business
Yes. Yep.
for RCS, delivering documents, sending product videos, allowing people to reorder on their device with one tap,
Yep.
right? Not having to go into an app. And you mentioned apps, that's going to be the biggest channel that's going to be disrupted by RCS over time. But we also talked about moving into different parts of the organization.
Yep.
The ability to move into the app part of the organization changes the conversation also,
Yes.
because they don't look at it from a transactional perspective.
Mm-hmm.
They look at it from a maintenance, support, up and right there are fixed
Yep.
costs that are required to make this work.
Yep.
That's where RCS needs to be.
Gotcha.
RCS needs to be in that world, and it can be because the one or two tasks that we do in these apps that have 10,000 of them
Yeah.
can very easily be moved into RCS. You're
Gotcha.
seeing that in a lot of examples around travel,
Yep.
around you know, hospitality, loyalty, um, different areas like that, where
Yeah.
now you can start to surface a lot of that information because now you have a new place to bring it to life. You don't
Gotcha.
need the app.
No,
That's
no.
like, I would love to really understand why people spend money like they do on a channel that is and has been just ineffective
Yeah.
from the standpoint of after 30 days, like 90% of the people don't use it.
Yeah.
If I went and had a sales pitch and I said, it's going to cost you $1 million, it's going to cost you $300,000 a year, it's going to give you these data points, but just so you know, after 30 days, nobody's going to use it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're going to have to spend a ton of money on acquisition,
Yeah.
which is wasted,
Yeah.
so that you can keep.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't
Because I
fully get it.
mean, this all rings so true with what I see WhatsApp doing. Because in hospitality, on the B2B side,
Yep.
it's mining those segments so well internationally. And it's so, and again, we should finish off because we could just talk for ages on this topic. But
Yeah,
again,
sure. Yeah, yeah.
education, education, education. I think
Huge.
that's the issue that we're facing as an industry in helping the brands understand what they've got and then just the baby steps to start moving forward so that I can finally experience some RCS campaigns myself.
Right. And it's the what I run into is people comparing SMS to RCS, and because SMS is so mature,
Mhm.
they assume RCS is. And we have to stop them sometimes and just say,
Yeah.
look, you have to understand SMS has been around for 35 years.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yes, it's mature. But I can tell you when I started in SMS in 2001, you couldn't send a message from Sprint to Verizon. So it's the
Yep.
same thing
Yep.
where it's just getting through these early bumps, getting through these early roadblocks, making sure that people understand what it really is, trying to move away. I had a customer the other day ask me, what is the upgrade path from 10DLC to RCS? That is tough
Yes.
because if you're out there saying RCS is an SMS upgrade, right? It makes sense
Yeah,
to ask that question.
exactly.
If you're saying RCS is SMS 2.0, that's a legitimate question to ask.
Yeah.
So it can't be, and I know it's salesy in marketing, and I know people are trying to make it simple and dumb. So I totally understand all of that, but there is no upgrade path
Correct.
from 10DLC to RCS. It is an entirely different channel, and that's part of the education and awareness
But
is
the
that
web's a closer
understanding and that
analogy, though, to where RCS is, isn't it?
um it's more it's more app like me. RCS will become landing pages.
Yes.
RCS will take over app functionality.
Yeah.
RCS will be data collection. RCS will be surveys. RCS will be lead generation. RCS will be commerce. When it's looked at through the lens of application development versus pushing a notification,
Yeah.
that's when the whole thing changes because RCS is just a layer.
Yeah.
And underneath that layer, you can have anything and everything going on from integrating a Shopify store to looking at inventory
Yeah.
to placing another order for cleaning supplies for my restaurant by tapping a button,
Yeah.
not
Exactly.
having to use all this clunky. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
where
No.
we are now. So,
Exactly. Exactly. But it's a learning curve, and the industry has to
yep,
go through, and it needs investment.
absolutely.
That's the key. I don't think we're seeing
Right.
enough investment in getting basically brands educated on what this channel means. You know,
And what it really is
yes.
and what it really can do
Yeah.
and what the future looks like just so they can understand like how is it's going to touch so
Yes.
many different parts of their business
Yes.
internally and externally because those HR platforms that are sending out text messages to tell you it's time to up your insurance or whatever,
Yeah.
they're going to start sending RCS,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Appointment scheduling, all those employment websites, sign up for a job, like all of this stuff, as long as the cost makes sense,
Yeah.
right? From a ROI perspective, you're going to start to see it everywhere.
Yeah. No, good point. Exactly. So we're unfortunately way out of time. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
yeah,
Michael. As always, stimulating. I think that, it's we've moved forward, not as much as I think we hoped, but hopefully through education, we can accelerate that movement through next year.
100%. Absolutely. And that's what we're here to help folks with,
Absolutely.
is give them the straight, and tell them what's really going on and what it's going to take and how it's going to work and
Thank you
making
so
sure
much,
they're
Michael.
successful. So
Take care.
thanks. Yeah.